must cultivate, and where their heart was full the season, live the quiet life of reason. The best of words is may not be, but no other one can read, no reader this, no forest of Arden. So let us cultivate, let us cultivate our garden.
In 1759, the great French philosopher Voltaire published his satirical novel, Candide, an undisputed masterpiece of the 18th century.
Candide, a masterpiece? A perfectly frivolous work, written in only 3 days, as I confided to my American friend Benjamin Franklin. But Franklin understood. Like myself, he recognizes the value of a witticism. You know, of course, that Jefferson and Adams did not trust him to write the Declaration of Independence. They feared he might insert a little joke into that noble document. Oh, well, very well. We must do our best in this remarkable world we live in. Come here. What do you see? Disorder? Chaos? Not at all. That magnificent Englishman, Sir Isaac Newton, corrected the ridiculous errors of the past and showed how it really all works with his mathematical laws of gravitation. A revolutionary discovery, truly worthy of an enlightened age. And there have been others. Now, what are we to conclude from all this? If Newton can discover the laws that govern the stars, cannot we discover the laws that govern the world of human beings, of society? We can. Proof that the world is becoming more enlightened every day can be found in the fact that I, an innocent observer of the human comedy, have been exiled twice, jailed 3 times, and that this inconsiderable trifle, Candide, was condemned by the Council of Geneva to be burned. What a fuss about an omelette. But enough. You shall see for yourselves how perfectly harmless it is. This is the castle of the Baron Thunder Ten Tronckh. Ah, and here is the Baron himself. The most powerful lord in Westphalia, for his castle has the distinction of having a door and several windows, some of which even have panes of glass. Good morning, Baron. My hero, Candide, so named because of his extremely candid, not to say simple-minded nature. Good morning, Candide.
Ah, Monsieur Voltaire. Good morning, Monsieur Voltaire.
The good Dr. Pangloss. Among other things, Professor of Metaphysics and Candide's tutor. Ah, yes. My heroine,
Good morning,
the
Monsieur.
fair Cunegonde, my Lord the Baron's daughter. Now, what harm, I ask you, could I possibly intend with such an innocent array of characters? Why should such a book be burned? In it, I have merely taken issue with the opinion of a fellow philosopher, the good Leibniz, a misguided German. Leibniz, you see, tells us that God, being perfect, created for us the best of all possible worlds. It is this ridiculous optimism which I have ridiculed in Candide, and for this the hangman condemns it to the flames. True, there are certain other matters that I take up, certain other follies and foibles of our age, but enough. You shall see for yourself.
Ah, Pangloss, what a beautiful morning it is.
Indeed, it could not be otherwise, Candide.
And what a beautiful castle we live in.
My boy, since stones were formed to be quarried, and since my lord the Baron is the greatest baron in the province, it is inescapable that he should be the best housed and have the finest castle in the province, and hence in the world.
Of course. He is so wise, the dear man. You were teaching me yesterday a lesson about spectacles. I wish to know more.
It is clearly demonstrated that since everything is made for an end, everything must be for the best end. Noses were made to wear spectacles, legs were made to be breeched, hence we have breeches. There is no cause without an effect, and everything is for the best in this best of all possible worlds. Anyone who says otherwise talks nonsense.
Since everything is for some purpose, my dear teacher, tell me, what is the fair Cunegonde for?
That I shall leave you to investigate for yourself, my boy.
You are now about to witness a splendid example of cause and effect. Observe the following cause.
Mademoiselle Cunegonde, what a joy it is to see you. I have been learning such wonderful things. I should like to tell you about them.
Oh, yes?
The great Pangloss has taught me that the purpose of noses is to wear spectacles. But I did not inquire from him the purpose of lips.
No?
No.
Unhand the fair Cunegonde.
Father!
Out of my castle.
But, my lord, I love Cunegonde.
Love her?
I shall love her forever, my lord.
Forever?
I wish to marry her.
Marry her? You? Marry a daughter of the great house of Thunder ten Tronsk? A German baron whose daughter has 72 quarterings on her coat of arms?
I realize, my lord, that my own origins are somewhat obscure. Nevertheless, my tutor, the good Dr. Pangloss, has taught me that all men are equal.
All men are equal?
Yes, my lord.
Equal?
Well, that is what I have been told, my
Out!
lord.
Begone! 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 Or nincompoop! Out of my castle! Out of Westphalia! Out of the state! Out of Germany! And do not ever come back!
Expelled from his earthly paradise for the love of Cunegonde, Candide's education in this best of all possible worlds now begins in earnest.
Good day, good sir.
Now, good day.
I wonder if you'd be so kind as to tell me where I am.
In Bulgaria, where else? Would you like some wine?
Indeed, I would, sir, but unfortunately, I have no money. None at all.
What does that matter? Aren't you about 6 feet tall?
Yes, gentlemen, that is my height exactly.
Then sit down, have a drink. Anna, another goblet.
How kind.
Not at all. You have no money. Take these 5 crowns. Go on, take them.
5 crowns? But why?
Why? Men are made to help one another.
Well, that is what Monsieur Pangloss always told me. I can see now that it must be true.
Of course it is. And we can see that you are a gentleman who loves tenderly.
Oh, I do love tenderly. A girl, the fair...
No. We're asking whether you love the king of the Bulgarians tenderly.
But how can I? I've never seen him.
What? Why, is the most gracious of kings, and you must drink his health.
Oh, gladly, gentlemen, gladly. Gladly. To the king of the Bulgarians.
Enough! But, sir... That is sufficient. You have accepted the king's money, and you have drunk his health, which automatically makes you a soldier in his glorious army.
What? Turn right, turn left. Raise the ramrod, return the ramrod. Take aim, fire, march. The first day of drilling, they gave me 30 lashes with a whip. The next day, I drilled a little less badly and got only 29. I wonder what would happen if I were to march straight ahead while no one was looking. After all, the great Pangloss has taught me that it is a privilege of the race of humans to use their legs as they please.
Halt! Hey! Come back here! Come back! Get him! Stop him! Get him! Come back! Get him! Get him! Come back!
Candide, you have been found guilty of attempted desertion of the army of the King of Bulgaria. Your judges recognize that you have complete liberty of choice, and we offer you a choice of punishment. Would you rather be lashed 36 times by the entire regiment of 2,000 men?
Or do you prefer a dozen bullets in the brain?
Begging your pardon, Your Excellencies, but the great Pangloss always taught me that men have free will, and it is my will to choose neither punishment.
I won't show you the painful scene that follows. Suffice it to say that Candide's wounds were nicely healed by the time the King of the Bulgarians went to war. Now, I have done a great deal of thinking about this subject of war, since it appears to be such a popular pastime in every age. Perhaps the most wonderful thing about it all is that each side has its colors blessed by willing priests and solemnly invokes God before going off to exterminate his neighbor. Interestingly enough, I have noticed that God seems always to be on the side of the biggest battalions. But precisely because war is such a splendid spectacle, some of you may be disappointed to learn that our hero hid during the entire battle and fled at the first opportunity to Holland.
My last crust of bread. 11 guilder left. I wonder what my dear teacher, Professor Pangloss, would say if he could see me now.
Arms for the poor old man. Arms for the poor old man.
Good man, you look even more miserable than I. Here, take these. Is it true? Can it be true, Pangloss?
Candide,
My dear old master.
my boy.
Here, come sit down. But what has brought you to such a wretched state? Why are you no longer in the noblest of castles? And what news have you brought of my beautiful Cunegonde? How is she?
Dead
Dead?
as a doornail.
Oh.
Oh, Candide, my poor, poor boy.
Tell me, my dear teacher, what did she die of? Longing for me?
Oh, no, would it was so. An entire troop of Bulgarian soldiers invaded the castle and...
Oh.
There. No need to take it so hard. Look at me. I contracted a slight contagious disease from an otherwise admirable young woman who received the present from a very learned Franciscan friar.
who got it from an old countess, who received it from a cavalry captain, who owed it to a marquise, who had it from a page, who received it from a Jesuit, who as a novice had got it in a direct line from one of the companions of Christopher Columbus. So you see, my boy, there's no cause without an effect, and vice versa. In this case, the cause was love, love, the consoler of the human race, the preserver of the universe, the soul of all emotional beings. Tender, tender love. Ah.
Alas, I have known this love too, and all it has ever brought me is one kiss and 20 kicks in the...
Ah.
Well, after poor Pangloss is cured of his slight contagious disease, he and Candide take a long boat trip to Portugal. And while they're at sea, allow me to comment on the next scene. It begins with the great earthquake in Lisbon, which, if you remember, took place in 1755 and caused the deaths of 30,000 men, women, and children, many of whom were worshipping in the cathedral at that very moment.
Ah, Pangloss, here we are in the great city of Lisbon, safe at last.
Yes, Candide. As I told you, everything is for the best.
Pangloss!
Oh, quickly, come away.
An earthquake! Run for your life!
Away, Candide. Do not be alarmed. Everything is for the best in this best of all possible world. Candide! Now, what can be the sufficient reason for this phenomenon?
Pangloss, I am dying. Get me a little wine.
Clearly, this earthquake is not a new thing. The city of Lima in South America, suffered the same shocks last year.
Pangloss!
Similar causes produce similar effects. And therefore, a vein of sulfur runs underground from Lima to this very spot.
Nothing is more probable indeed, but for the love of God, get me a little wine.
What do you mean, probable? I maintain the matter is proved. Has my philosophy been wasted upon you all these years? Do you still not know that all is for the best?
Excuse me. Did I understand the gentleman to say that all is for the best?
I very humbly beg your Excellency's pardon, but if he will consider that all causes have effect.
All causes have effect, indeed. Then apparently the gentleman does not believe in free will.
Your Excellency will excuse me. Free will can coexist with absolute necessity.
Seize them!
Who? Who?
Miserere sub codere benedictus pax vobiscum et pluribus unam, etc., etc. After much study and meditation, we, the wise men of the Holy Inquisition, have decreed that to prevent further earthquakes, 4 heretics shall be put to death.
1 Sicilian.
Behold, 1 Sicilian, guilty of having married his godchild's godmother.
To be burned at the stake.
One Portuguese. Behold, 1 Portuguese. guilty of being served ham and eggs and refusing to eat the ham.
To be burned at the stake.
One philosopher. Behold, one philosopher guilty of having philosophized.
To be hanged. Hanged. Though it is not the custom.
True, but it's always good showmanship to vary the program.
My thought precisely. Continue.
The philosopher's pupil. Behold, the philosopher's pupil, guilty of having listened to the philosopher.
Or the philosopher's pupil. Ritual. Flogging.
Ritual flogging.
Ritual flogging?
Ritual flogging.
Ritual flogging.
If this is the best of all possible worlds, what must the others be like? To think that I've seen Pangloss hanged.
An earthquake! Impossible! The Inquisition has decreed that earthquakes shall be banned forever!
Follow me.
Follow you?
Do not ask questions. Take this sword. Quick, follow. Enter.
My lady.
No, no. It is not my hand you should kiss. Take courage and enter. Come closer. Closer. Remove my mask.
Can it be?
Yes, it is.
Cunigund, my love.
Candide, my love.
Cunigund, my darling, it is Saturday. I've made it, Cunegonde. It's still Friday.
Saturday, your watch is slow.
It's Friday, your watch is fast.
Saturday,
Friday.
Saturday,
Friday.
Saturday,
Friday.
Saturday,
Friday.
Saturday,
Saturday.
Good sirs.
Saturday.
Good sirs! Good sirs! I beg to inform you that you're in the private boudoir of my fiancée.
Fiancé? I never agreed to a third party.
Nor I. You. Well, you escaped the flogging today, but this time I'll have you burned to a crisp.
Now, if Pangloss had not been hanged, he would have given me excellent advice in this extremity. But alas, I'm alone. I've just been flogged. I'm about to be burned by the Inquisition. I'm passionately in love, madly jealous, and though I am the mildest of creatures, I think I'm going to commit a double murder.
Oh, Candide, Candide, what have you done? How could you, of all people, kill two men in less than 1 minute? You must flee at once.
My thought precisely, my love. But do not fear. We shall meet again.
Well, in only one episode, in all his many wanderings, does my poor hero discover a land of happiness, where people are truly enlightened. It's a country called El Dorado, where there are no law courts or prisons, no priests or churches, where everyone has everything that he needs, and where education and science enlighten the minds of all. Impossible even to conceive of such a place, you may say. Perhaps you're right. So I will not strain your credulity by setting it before you now. Suffice to say that Candide carries away with him a vast fortune in precious jewels, emeralds, diamonds, and sapphires. But, as you can well imagine, this vast fortune soon disappears in one way or another. However, all things end happily in this best of all possible worlds.
My beloved Cunegonde in Constantinople. I can see her now as she waits for me. Her beauty more breathtaking than ever.
Candide!
Cunegonde!
Candide, my love.
Cunegonde? My love?
Candide.
Nevertheless, I shall marry her. For, beautiful or ugly, it is my duty to love her always. Oh, there is one thing I should explain. Cunegonde does not know that she has grown ugly. No one has ever told her.
And so, with his last remaining diamond or two, Candide buys a small farm, and he, Cunegonde, the old lady, and Pangloss. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that Pangloss shows up, not having been killed after all.
I declare, I flattered myself, Candide, that now we have a farm, we'd have time to reason a bit together about effects and causes, the best of all possible worlds, the origin of evil, the nature of the soul, and pre-established harmony. But now I believe life has become a bit boring.
It is a serious question, Pangloss, as to which is worse. To receive 72,000 lashes from the Bulgarian army, to be flogged by the Holy Inquisition, or to sit here doing nothing.
It is indeed a serious question. Candide, do you suppose that we ought to start doing something?
I've been thinking that myself, old friend. We have our farm. Perhaps we ought to start working it. Let us try cultivating our garden. I shall do the planting. Pangloss, you shall take the produce to the market.
Yes.
Madam, you shall do the laundry. And Cunegonde,
Yes, my love, I shall...
You shall become the pastry cook. Yes, I think that's the only answer. Let us work without theorizing. We were not born for idleness.
You're right. For when Adam was put into the Garden of Eden, he was put there ut operaretur eum, to work. Which proves man was not born for rest.
No, no woman either. I agree.
You're right.
Then let us cultivate our garden. It's the only way to make life endurable.
We all have learned that this late age our garden we must cultivate and plant a half or clover seed and live the quiet life of reason. The best of nurses may not be, but more than one can read no Eden this, no forest of Arden. So let us cultivate our garden.
I will sow and reap.
I will buy and sell.
I will wash and weep. And I will bake. I will bake apple strudel.
No need in this, no forest of Arden, no forest of Arden.
No weed in this, no forest of Arden, no weed in this.
The best of worlds it may not be, but no other one have we. No weed in this, no forest of Arden, so let us cultivate our garden.